Hey, I'm Mansoor. You're listening to First Exit to Springfield. What's happening, listeners? It's been a while. I'm here with my boy Sean. Sean, what's going on?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
looking
good.
forward to this.
Yeah. I hope you're looking forward to it because I haven't done like an episode for like 6 months, so I'll probably flop. So that's where you need to pick up the slack.
That's it. I've been listening.
Cool. In fact, I haven't said anything funny for 6 months as a policy. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
This will be fully
I've done nothing but funny in that time.
All right. Yeah, we'll compliment each other. Decent. How you doing today, man?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. We're in a new studio today, so you're the guinea pig.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a new building, but Marcus is still here, which is cool.
That's it.
Forever haunting the hallways.
That's it. I was just talking to Marcus. I was like, I listened to all the episodes, and you talk about Marcus chucking people out. If you mess about, I'm going to dash him out the door. I thought this was just some generic like doorman. You know,
he's real. He exists.
It's roped off, and he just opens it up, silently ushers you out the door. And I've just met this guy, and he actually exists.
He's like the Street Fighter announcer.
He's a big guy too, as well.
Oh yeah, he's there, man.
You'll be gone.
Cool. Trying to remember how we used to do this. Here's how I like to warm up. Like to ask my listeners. No, I don't like to ask my listeners. I don't solicit feedback from those guys. I don't care about those guys. What I care about is the guest. I like to ask my guests how they got into the show The Simpsons.
Yeah, just from early. I mean, I was born in 1986, so by the time I got to about 4 or 5, I used to go up to my nan and granddad's house every single weekend. It would be me, my brother who's 2 years younger, my cousin's a year younger, another brother a year younger than him. It was all boys. We had another cousin 5 years younger than him. My granddad, he was the best. He was the best granddad that you could have had. Like, my son's named after this man.
Oh.
And he looked forward to having all the boys over on the weekend. And he'd have like VHS lined up, all different things, just keep us entertained. We'd be out playing football. But yeah, at some stage he introduced The Simpsons to us, and that's the one that we all really got the bug. And so yeah, it was all the boys. We'd quote it to each other, and it was just, we all bonded over it. I took it back to my house. My dad loved it. So you had that young upbringing on The Simpsons. It's like by the time I got to school, you went in there and it was like you were just bodying people with your knowledge. But you just got this core group at school.
Yeah.
And it was like you would just pull off to one side and just go over The Simpsons from the night before. So every night it'd be on and you'd have to catch it. On a Sunday, they dropped the new episode. So Monday, it was just crucial that you had to watch that Sunday episode, because any other day, if you knew your episodes, they could start getting into the chat, and you could just dip in and out of it. You knew the episodes. But if it was the Sunday one, the new one, you were just gone. Like, you were dead to them. It was like, did you see Simpsons yesterday? No. I was like, see you tomorrow.
Hey, what channel did you watch it on?
Well, when it was at my grandparents', it was like BBC Two.
All right, yeah.
So that was the way it came through at the start.
Yeah.
But then it was like, we were lucky enough that my parents had cable at home.
Sick.
So you had the Sky episodes.
Yes, yeah.
And then, you'd catch it on the Sunday. So it was just, you couldn't get enough of it. It was, you had the Mega Drive games. I had the...
Yes.
Yeah, like you loved that. We had to knock the hats off of the people and they'd be bouncing. It was, it was bad game, 16-bit, but it was good at the time. And I remember my granddad bought me this alarm clock, Bart Simpson alarm clock, and it was like, I thought it was the best thing ever, but my dad nearly smashed it, because it was like, it used to say, "Yo man, wake up and get out of bed," just over and over and over. And the problem was, I'd never need to be woken up by an alarm. I was like 6. So I'd be downstairs playing. It'd be my dad getting woken up at 7 o'clock. And that's it. That's
a beautiful story. I've got this theory that The Simpsons is like a working class heirloom. Right?
Yeah.
It's what working class people pass down to each other.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, you know what I mean? It's some kind of beautiful shared culture there.
It's if you're into The Simpsons, it's like you just know that you can drop, like me and you talk all the time, and we'll just drop like Simpsons references, and you won't drop the reference and then make a story. It'll be a normal everyday occurrence will happen, and it will just have a Simpsons reference. Like yesterday, we were talking about setting up this show, and we set up the time and what we're going to do, and you said excellent. And I replied like Burns voice. It's like, it's just, and it ain't even a thing. You don't even think about it because it just goes into everyday life. Like, I was at a wedding a couple of weeks ago. And a friend of mine said about, you know, he'd heard it somewhere else, but it was nice to hear. And he was like, if you go to a place where you don't know anyone in the room, if you just shout out, dental plan, and then like at least one or two people should shout back, Lisa needs braces. And it's just like, you can come and chill with me. It's like, we've got something to talk about. That is the way that it goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's crazy that, you know, it gives people this kind of common platform to get to know each other.
It kind of just shows that you click. It ain't even a case of that you're going to have to talk about Simpsons all day.
Yeah.
But if you find the Simpsons to be great, I know that we're going to have things in common.
On the same wavelength, for sure.
Absolutely.
I use it as a way to filter out people. So, you know, on my Tinder profile, I just put a Simpsons quote. And if you can...
Yeah.
No, I haven't done this. If I ever do that, please shoot me.
Yeah. I mean, like, my wife doesn't like The Simpsons. My mum doesn't like The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way. It's like, you know, it's a kind of thing that you bond with, but yeah, you don't need it in your absolute day-to-day bread and butter. Like, you know, you got to have a life away from this thing too.
How far do we go back, man? It's got to be like 10, maybe 12 years. I don't know.
Long while, and it's strange because like we're like different in like many ways, and then other ways it's just like absolutely the same. it's like we can go 6 months, won't say a word, and it's just like drop a message and it's like start creasing. Yeah.
There's another friend of ours, Patrick.
Oh yeah.
He's exactly like that.
Yeah.
He'll just pop up once a year with a text. And like,
I saw him like 6 months ago. It's the first time I'd seen him in about 8 years, and it was just like same guy.
Sick. All right, man. So here's the loose structure of the show, and I mean loose. We're gonna go through.
Like it.
Yeah. We're gonna go through your top 3 episodes in no particular order, and we'll talk about them, what you like, what you don't like, and we'll digress. And digression is encouraged.
That's the one.
And at the end, we'll get into all the other stuff, honorable mentions and all that, because it's impossible to pick 3.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do the show. So, shall we begin?
Let's go.
Kick it off for me. What's the first episode?
Season 7, it's Marge Be Not Proud.
Oh, you stumped me. What was that one?
Bart does something in particular that she's not proud about.
Ah, yes. The shoplifting one.
Try and say. That's it. And the thing is, like, this episode, I deliberated about whether or not to put it in, because, like, on some of your other shows, I hear that you talk about people who had the old VHS. Well, like, I had never had the VHS with the sleeve. Like, I just had the bootleg, and it wasn't any particular episodes that I picked out, but I just recorded the next 3 that came on, and this was one of them. Oh, yeah. And this bootleg VHS that I'd recorded just became grainy within like 6 months. It just got overwatched. It's
Mad
like
replays.
It's like when you put your favourite song as your ringtone, or like your alarm clock. You know, that song could be the best song ever. It's dead to you. Like,
the I Believe I Can Fly effect.
Absolutely. And that's what happened with this episode, but I can't deny how good it is, and it's just one that I recall.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like the way it kicks off is Bart and Lisa are sitting in the front room watching the TV, and the adverts come on. It says this advert's been brought to you by Tupac Shakur. They're sitting there, and it's like it's coming up to Christmas. They're trying to reel the kids in, and this real over the top video game comes on with Santa, like hardcore Santa. It's like, let's go, Bone Storm, sorry. And Lisa's just turns off to it straight away, but Bart's just like drooling, and he's like, I've got to get this game. And he goes, and it's like, I think it was like $59, $60 or something.
Up to and including $70.
That's it, yeah.
You know, I'm just trying to place this in time. If the episode starts with an advert featuring Tupac Shakur,
if
this was season 7, he must have been close to death.
It would have been close. this was season 7, which I think was about 95.
Ah, okay.
And Tupac died, 96?
Yeah. Almost.
Yeah.
Well.
Make sure you get right. Marcus will be in. I'll be running solo.
It's your show now. All right, as you were. Sorry.
Yeah. So like Bart makes his way up to the try and save. You got like Jimbo and Nelson walk in, and they've stolen like a American football under his hat, and like
it's got like this weird egg shape.
Isn't like Nelson's like bought like exactly the same jacket, like, but it's just like underneath his one. It's like 4-finger discount. It's a victimless crime, like punching someone in the dark. Bart like jacks the game and like makes his way out, and he thinks he's made it. He just gets that arm on the shoulder, and it's he's
Mike
just,
Brodka.
Yeah, Don Brodka. Get right.
That's strike 2.
Yeah, I got the note, mate. Yeah. He gets So he gets pulled in, and he's got to watch some like shoplifting Troy McClure video. She's like, I can kind of relate to today. I've been on this driving awareness course. I got done for the speeding. You just got to sit through this animated like garbage. It's like you learn nothing. It's like I'm here to like scrub the points. Like, why are you making me sit through this? It was a fake.
What's that course like, man? I don't even drive, so oh god,
absolute hell.
Like,
4 hours. You turn up and everyone's got a bad beat story. It's like, man. How'd you get in here? Like everyone, like
what are you in for?
It's like Shawshank. It's like everyone's innocent. It's like the thing is, like the one I was specifically on was the I motorway.
Yeah.
So it's like you're against the computer. It's like it hasn't screwed you. Like, I know full well I was speeding. I was speeding. I thought it was switched off. I got flashed, and I've come here to like suck it up. And it's but yeah,
just the system works.
Yeah, you got all these like middle-aged men in there that are just like crying and whinging, and I'm thinking, you're just making it last longer. But yeah, it's but yeah, so he has to sit through that, and he's like dealing with this Don Brodka, and he's like, as soon as the tape finishes, he like slams the VCR. It's like so needlessly over the top with like a 10-year-old boy. He starts giving him all this abuse, and he has to leave that answer phone message. But because of the way he speaks, he's just like, that's right. It sounds like he's speaking to Homer or whatever. He's like, yeah, try and have a nice Christmas. Yeah, and he's like, I left an answer phone message. So like Bart's got to like race back. He's like, gotta change that tape. Like Homer at the same time, so got his head hanging out of the door. It's like, gotta change Maggie. They get back to the house. It's like Homer's like, got an answer phone message. Hello, mother. Hello, father. Here I am at
Camp Granada.
Marge, is Lisa at Camp Granada? Bart like hides the tape back in the old sleeve. Yeah, I put this back where no one's gonna find it.
See, I've got a beef with voicemail.
Yeah,
I feel like the only person in the world who leaves voicemails is my dad. Yeah, like there's nobody else who'll leave a voicemail.
No, it's true. I mean, I don't even let it get to the voicemail. If it rings like 5 times, it's just like you're either not getting to it by the 6th ring or you're ignoring it. And I'm like, I've got too much of an ego to be ignored. So I feel like me cutting it off is me taking it back. Yeah. It's like, when they see that missed call, it's like as if it's going to have a note next to it. Yeah. Cut you off. Yeah. All right. Marge sets up for him to go and have the family photo up at the try and save.
Yeah.
And like one of the last things that Bart was told is like, if you come back to this store, you're going to end up in juvenile hall. juvenile hall. It's like Bart's starting imagining like juvenile hall, and it's like, come on, new bike. He gets this present is like some old wigs. It's like, have a Merry Christmas. And it's that like random drunk from like Moe's, like, the no name, like not even
beard.
Yeah, with that beard. But it's like it's not even. I even give like the random drunk with the hat with the red. I get he's a level above this guy who's like basically asleep. It's like the only thing I think he's ever said in the whole show is just like, oh, Merry Christmas. It's like bit of beer money. But yeah. But yeah, so they have to go to try and save. Bart comes down with like the disguise on. It's just like, Bart, is that Chin Putty? I don't have to listen to these wild allegations.
That's my favourite quote of all the episodes.
It's like, oh, come on, Bart, we want to have one picture at least where like everything goes right. And you look at all these pictures of him pulling the face, and he's the one where he's holding up the speech bubble of like next to Homer and says, I stink. Homer's like, hey, I don't remember saying that. But yeah, he gets to the try and save, and he's like trying to dodge it. Picture gets taken just as he's being collared. So you just see this big arm with like the US like Marine Corps tattoos. It's like, he's like being pulled out. Marge is just like gobsmacked. Well, no, she actually like stands up to him, doesn't? She's like,
yeah, she's like backing him.
Yeah,
at first.
she's backing him, and then it gets played out to the whole store, and she's just like, can't believe it.
She's like super disappointed, right?
Yeah.
It's like a particular kind of disappointment, right? She's saying that like you really messed things up and I'm so sad I can't even be angry with you, right? It's that kind of deep sadness.
Yeah. Yes. When they got back from the try and save, and Marge is being conscious about her over mothering of Bart. And she's like, oh, well, she gives him like the hot chocolate. He's like, oh, there's no marshmallows in this. And she's like, well, I thought you were too old, and I thought you'd like be able to put your own marshmallow in. It's like, how wrong can it possibly go? He drops it in, the marshmallow just like sponges up the whole cup. He spills it out and starts slicing it off. Grandpa, who you haven't seen all episodes, is like, hey, give me a slice. That's one of the things I love about The Simpsons, is just like these random quotables that just got no bearing on anything else other than just to like mug a character off. like for no reason whatsoever. Like Grandpa's just been chucked under the bus. It's just like some Becky guy that wants a slice. Some old spongy.
They will transport a character from nowhere just to put him in the scene. And
it's. I swear, like there's like some episode with a song, and like in the middle it says like, for no reason here's a poo. It's like just shamelessly just like we'll throw him in there just to like fill out a line.
Speaking of hot chocolate, it's an episode where Flanders makes Bart a hot chocolate. He's in the tree house, kind of leaning towards Flanders' window. Flanders mixing this mad hot chocolate with like 5 or 6 layers of, all sorts of cream and chocolate, sticks a flake in it, all of this. It pulls out a little like blowtorch. Yeah. That was like season whatever, 5 or something. Randomly, they brought it back at like last week's episode in season 29. Flanders made another hot chocolate.
Sunday?
Just Sunday just gone. Oh. Flanders made another one of those hot chocolates with that.
Yeah, they just bring these. Yeah, I know that like I was watching some new episode just the other day, and it was like some reference to Daddy Daughter Day, which was like, I think that was like season 6 or something like that. Like just about a Sunday. It's like as if that's still the day. It's like not been referenced in like all these seasons, but it's like, oh yeah, you better, as if everything else is fitted within that week. It's like just coming back round to Sunday.
We're recording some point in May 2027.
Yeah.
So, if you're trying to work out what episode we're on about, carry on.
So he comes back to the house. But like the thing that makes me laugh is that like she puts the photo up in like the house because she's like looking at it.
Yeah.
Why would you buy that photo? It's like this shocking moment where like he's being collared and like pulled out. It's like, yeah, fair enough. It's a waste. You don't bring it home and hang it on the mantelpiece. And so basically, Bart needs to make amends. He goes back to the try and save, gets a picture of himself, brings it back, and he gives it to his mum. And she's like over the moon with it, puts it up. and she gives him an early Christmas present. And it's that Lee Carvalho's putting challenge. You get that little thing at the end on the putting green. It's just like, I suggest putter. He ends up getting the Freewood power drive in the parking lot. Yeah, it's just
that's the worst game in the history of video games.
Yeah, it must be. I guess that's what it was designed. It's just that, yeah, and he ends up getting that as his early Christmas present, and he hasn't got the heart to then tell his mum. So it's like, the thing I like about the episode is it's deep, but it's not overly deep like seasons 1 to 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
It's like really funny, full of loads of quotables.
Yeah,
and but then it has the kind of story that you can just relate to. Like, everyone's been that kid that like has considered going out and stealing something that they can't have.
Yeah.
It's like, whether or not you've done it, he's obviously gone through it. You've seen the consequences of it.
Yeah.
Then you've got, like, I'm now a parent, and it's like, but not to a 10-year-old, but I can now watch it and see it from Marge's perspective. She's like, well, he's ended up being a thief, and she blames that on her parenting. But yeah, it's a well-rounded episode.
That's a beautiful choice, and you're absolutely right. Season 1 and 2 had the messages were too strong. There was too much morality. Mm-hmm. So I just spotted that random tool you had. Hey, this is Northwest London, man. You gotta see.
Yeah, it's
be ready at all times.
He's just always got to pack that tool.
I'll say season 1 and 2 were like, the morality was too strong, mm-hmm. and I can't. That's why I don't watch those early episodes. This one, they kind of softened up the message, right? It wasn't too preachy.
Yeah.
But so let me ask you about video games, because they feature heavily in this. Were you ever a gamer, or you?
I was as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, and then that stopped very early. I mean, by the time I was at secondary school, I was dipping out. When I was a kid, I used to love all like the platform games, Sonic, and these sorts of games. And it was just, as it moved beyond that, I never stayed on the wave. Like, all my brothers and cousins and that all loved the games, but they'll tell you I fell off. Like, so we used to be at my nan and granddad's, and I'd be the only one that was within a chance of actually completing Sonic. So like, if you ever eat with like me and my family, like, all us boys are the fastest eaters. It just goes.
Because you got to play.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's what it was.
Yeah,
because you want to go and play. And because there was a hierarchy system within the front room, the first one in there got the chair. The second one in there got to like sit on the mat next to the chair. The other two then were like on the sofa that was too far away that you couldn't really see it because it wasn't the biggest of TVs. And that was always the younger ones, like the whipping boys.
That was me, to be honest.
I was always in the chair. But yeah, so
sorry, carry on.
So they'd watch me, G me on, and then it got to the stage where I didn't carry on. They all overtook me, and I'm not a gamer at all. I don't own a console, nothing.
Oh, it's a young man's game.
That's the one.
I'm the same way, man. So they re-released the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
In like a mini version.
Yeah.
And I just play like Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And like Mario.
I mean, I still play Sonic on my phone.
Oh yeah.
But like, I never had a Nintendo. So growing up, I was just Mega Drive.
Oh yeah.
So the retro.
That's equally good.
Yeah. But like things like Mario, I never played.
Oh,
never,
right.
Never, ever.
It's a weird divide.
Yeah. Shelbyville.
It's a weird parallel universe.
That's the one.
There's one Biggie lyric that was the reason I went off and bought this. I never had a Super Nintendo as a kid.
Yeah.
But there's one Biggie line.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. 50-inch screen, money, green leather sofa. Yeah, that
got to ride the limousine with a chauffeur.
Yeah, that's
it. Yo, that's it. That's me, man. I feel like I live a lot of my life just like listening to old rap lyrics and then just buying whatever they were talking about.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I love Biggie too. But I'm not a gamer. Definitely not a gamer.
Yeah. All right, man. That was a sick choice. Marge, be not proud. Solid choice. You started off strong here. Right. So, but don't drop the ball now. Now we're coming into like the middle section here, the second act. Don't the listeners get angry because many have started off strong, but then they flop. So the pressure's on. All right, tell me what your second choice is here.
Right, season 9. It's Trash of the Titans. All right.
Yo! It's just knee slapper.
This one is just me. This episode is just fire. Just the way that Homer's so petty with it, the way that everyone's rolling with him. It's like you've got the voice of reason versus like the moron, but like the moron is just lapping the crowd up. It's
But before we get into that, just a quick recap for our listeners. This is the one where Homer, for some reason, becomes head of the rubbish collection in the city or something.
Yeah.
He's a total jerk throughout.
That's
but I'll let you tell us your thoughts on it.
So basically, like this one starts off in some like boardroom, and they're in there and they're looking at market sales, and you got some guy in there that's trying to justify this slump. So you've got like this graph, and it's like Christmas and Easter holidays and like Thanksgiving, and then he sort of just tries to gloss over like, yeah, you get the usual summer slump. And like look around, and this board of directors have just like got the knives out ready. It's like, and you've got this like Murdoch sort of character in there. It's like, get him out. He gets, like, this guy's obviously been up all night thinking like, I've got to like just ride this one through. He just gets ushered out the door. And this Murdoch guy gets at the front, and he's just like, look, we need to fill this gap. We need to invent a new day to make some more money. They're like, well, what do you do? Just invent a day? Yeah, we'll invent like a love day, but like not so lame. And it just cuts. It's like, happy love day, everyone. It's like Simpsons household. They're like fully jumped in on this love day. Like Homer's been given like sort of hug a lot, like this bear, and like all these games and everything's all been chucked around the place. And Lisa's trying to play it down, but I think Homer's like, don't ruin another love day. It's like, basically, like what it comes down to is that there's loads of rubbish in the house.
Have you seen this joke on the internet how that's basically what Amazon did with Prime Day, that they've just like made up? I don't know if you're an Amazon user.
Yeah, I am a user, but I don't know of a Prime Day. I know all about Amazon Prime, but I didn't realise that they
it's just like a random day. Anyways, carry on.
So basically, like the house is like fully cluttered up.
Yeah.
And they're like having to pack away all this rubbish. The bin's overflowing. And they come up with the idea, like, you top it off, you drop it off. And Homer's like, no, I can fit some more in there. And he's like, you've got this bear that, like, he was just given, like, he's like Sir Hug-a-Lot. So he's just, like, ramming it into the bin. I love you. It's like, bash. Squashes the bin down and just like goes on. Then you got like Lisa and Bart both like topping it up even higher. I think Bart like staples like a banana peel to the bin and walks away. And then Homer like tops it off, and it's all falling on the floor in this wrapper. He like writes B+ on it and puts it on the fridge. It's like we can all relate to this. It's like, I'm like far from the most organised person. Like, my like shelves of all my materials they all get laid with good intentions. Like within no time they're everywhere. It's just like, it's, I don't know, I guess it's human nature. He puts it up on the fridge and he thinks he's proud of himself, but he turns around, he knocks the bin over. Marge is like, I heard that. So he's got to take it out. He gets like garbage water on his slippers. It's like, takes it out, and like, but the garbage truck has already left.
Yeah.
It's about 100 yards up the road, and he's chasing him. He's like, you lousy piece of crap, or whatever he said. They like start reversing back. What did you say? It's like, oh, you heard what he said. He wouldn't have reversed if you didn't hear what he said. They come back, and like, I don't know if you see how it pans out, but like Homer walks back in the house, and he's like covered in like, they've stuck all the rubbish in his trousers and all that, and he's like, I've gone to fight with the town hall, and they've cut off our service. But he's like proud of himself because he's like, he doesn't want to apologise. Marge's like, well, what are we gonna do? And it's like, so basically,
wait, is this when they're having the family dinner and they're saying, Yeah, yeah.
He started chucking it out the window.
Yeah.
Bart's like, goodbye, fine China. Frisbees this plate out the window. It's just like, out onto the. It's been there for like all this time. You see like Bart and Lisa are like going off to school. They got thrown the meat out for the rats. Bart's got the plague.
Do you know what the best line is? Is when, like, I think Marge says, the homeless woman who lives in the garbage heap complained about it. I was like, that's not how she tells it. Quick digression, if I may.
Yeah.
I used to live with, quite frankly, a coke dealer.
Okay.
Right? But the strange thing about this coke dealer was he made a really good housemate. He used to do all the chores. I didn't take out the trash ever. He used to do all the dishes, all of this. And in some kind of weird, twisted way, I kind of feel like he was doing that to kind of balance out the fact that he was selling Class A drugs. Like, I wouldn't sweat him on the narcotics if he did the dishes. I don't know. Yeah. So, like, he was the perfect trash guy, man.
But yeah.
Let me tuck my morality in.
Good people do bad things.
All right. This is.
But yeah, but so basically, like, goes up to the town hall. This is where he meets Ray Patterson. So he's gone in there to like demand his apology back, and Patterson's like, okay, Mr. Simpson, here's your apology back. And Homer's like, you don't scare me with your office and your desk and your lamp. Like, Patterson's like, I'm not trying to scare you. It's like, oh yeah, put on a show for the cameras. What cameras? It's like, yeah, I'm coming up here to rattle a few cages. Starts rattling the cage with the bird. Stop doing that! But yeah, so anyway, like he's like, this isn't the last time you're gonna hear from me, Patterson. Goes out. He walks in. He's like, yeah. I'm gonna run for office or whatever he says, and you've got that random sarcastic New Yorker that's like at the thing. It's like, yeah, but this is where you come to register for a sex offender. Mo walks in. It's like, there's always a line. For no reason.
You know, this is someone like Homer though. He's not this determined go-getter who goes in.
Nah.
Why is he rattling cages? That's definitely not him. He's lazy. This episode is so weird because of that.
It is different. It's different because, I mean, the whole episode starts with him being lazy, like, won't put the bin out. Yeah. And it's just like, all of a sudden he wants to fight it. And it's like, wouldn't it have been easier to have just put the bin out in the first place? But yeah, I guess that's Homer. Right? But yeah, so he's there. He's starting to like campaign for his position. He starts off at the nuclear power plant and he's like giving his idea out and everything. Lenny and Carl are walking away. And Carl's like, he's a great nuclear power technician. I don't know if I trust him with my garbage. It's like, you've got like randomly U2 are just like in town and they're doing a concert. And Homer sneaks into the back of the concert because he's like the potato man. It's like,
where have you been?
Like, comes in there and he like starts taking over. Bono basically lets him talk on the stage. Homer's trying to drop bombs and he just gets crickets. But yeah, so he ends up getting chucked out of the concert. You see in like the Titantron behind him. Yeah, he's just getting battered by like the door staff while the music's playing. Like,
don't worry, folks. He's getting the help he needs.
It's like gut punch to the head. It's like Homer can take a beating. It's like it's been proven. He's taking an absolute rattling, but then you see him later in the episode, not a scratch on him. He's like, not worried.
Have you ever rushed on a stage? And be honest.
Have I rushed on a stage? I don't really watch live. I'm a boring guy. In that way. It's like some people are like, you like this band or you like this singer? It's like, yeah, I like them. It's like, yeah, you should hear them live. And I'm like, to me, like the live is the worst. Like, I'd rather have the studio copy. It's like I want to hear like I don't know. That's just
I think you're right.
OCD, I guess.
I think it's true of like hip hop, especially.
Yeah,
live rap is the worst thing ever.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to a guy that we both know, and he was saying that he'd been to see. I think it was like Method Man or something, something like that. Yeah. And basically, he's at the show and he's like forgetting the words to his own tracks.
Man.
And like they're all rapping along to it. Like they're like he's coasting through the show on like their like wave. And the thing is, if you're into hip hop, Method Man is great. Like he's up there. He's really up there. But if he's up there forgetting his lines, like, so that's what I mean. I'd rather just have the studio copy, but I know that's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, no, I Now I was saying similar to that Method Man. I saw a well-known UK hip-hop artist, Kalashnikov.
Okay.
And he was on the same way forgetting his lyrics.
Yeah.
He'd spit like 8 bars and tell the DJ, all right, next track.
Yeah.
Which is terrible. So one time I rushed onto stage. I was watching Artful Dodger live.
Okay.
I don't know. I think the energy just took me.
I'm imagining it like, you know, Arthur Dodger and Craig David. It's like, you know, the track where it does like boing. It's like, that's the moment. Like, Craig David, I love me. Doing like you're on the stage.
I don't know what it was. I think it was Moving Too Fast, which is one of his smoother songs.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I got to think for UK Garage. I was up on stage, had my arm around the MC, had him in a headlock. I was like, yo, just let's wave. I never seen security come out so fast.
You're lucky it wasn't Afro Man. Yo, Afro Man. Gosh.
Oh man. Yeah. So that's it, man. But yeah, it is F live music. Sorry.
It gets away from this U2 gig. Goes to like the debate night, and they're up on the stage. Like Homer's just like, sorry, my opponent didn't think enough of you to turn up tonight. Must have had other things on his mind. Glug, glug, glug. It's like coming from Homer, who's like one of the biggest boozers around. It's like Patterson turns up and he's just like, sorry everyone, I was late. Someone tampered with my brakes. Homer's like, well, if you didn't have any brakes, you should have been early. Like, it just gets into this real like childish back and forth. It's like Homer's just like, yeah, sorry, old man Patterson. Calls him like Pops. Patterson's like, I'm 2 years older than you. But yeah, so basically like Patterson's just like fed up with it and he tries to just level with the crowd. And it's like, you know, if you want an experienced counsellor who's going to be responsible for this town, vote for me.
Oh, yeah.
If you want, like, this moron with his, like, false claims, vote for Homer. And it's like, you look at all the crowd and they're all sort of pondering the idea. The next thing, it's just like, Homer wins by a landslide. And, so it goes to, he's in the office. He's, like, stamping all these checks with like signing off this, that, the other, and then like Quimby just turns up and he's like, Simpson, you've spent a year's budget in a month. It's like Homer's just like, what? How? It's like, oh, it's okay, I've got an idea. And Quimby's like, yeah, well, you better, because these garbage men won't work for free. Homer's like, no. But yeah, it's he goes anyway. Homer like magically solves this scenario. He's like he turns up at the office. Yeah. All the workers are in there with clubs and bats. They're like, oh, yeah, Simpson, where's our money? He turns up with his briefcase like puffed full of cash. Opens it up, will cash, dude? Will it? Quimby sticks his head in. He's like, did I hear a briefcase opening? So basically, like he's solved all the issues. They're going away in the car, and like they're like, Homer, like how have you got this money? And it's just like drugs. Like, Homer's like, close, but way off. It's like he takes him and he shows him basically what he's doing. It's like an abandoned mine. Oh yeah, in Springfield. It's like all the other states don't want this garbage, so they pay me to dispose of it. Margie's like, I think Lisa was like, I almost wish it was drugs. But I was like, some of it is. Like, the one from like New York City empties it out. It's like grenades, guns, needles, just being pumped under. Lisa's like, this is horrible.
Oh, man.
Like, you can't pump stuff under the city forever. Sure I can, honey. So like, everything's going great. He's like out playing golf with Quimby. And like Quimby's like, I don't know how you did it, Simpson. You've solved this. He like putts the ball and his ball just fires off because this like garbage like pumps up through the green. It's like, no, the whole city's basically overflowing. He turns around, Simpson, do you know anything about this? He turns around, Homer's just like legging it. She's like a typical thing that Homer does. He does it in that episode with the where he's going to give Grandpa a kidney. It's just like, oh yeah, like on the operating table, and it's like the window's open, and he's lecking it. It's like simplest solution, and yeah, basically the whole town overflows.
Yeah,
this is the bit that's kind of similar to the principal and the pauper situation, where it's like, okay, you've found yourself in this scenario. How are you going to tidy this up for the pun? But like, how are you going to tidy up this mess for like the next
grade A comedy for you here, folks.
For the next episode? Yeah. And Quimby just pulls out this folder. It's like Plan B. Put Plan B into operation. It's just move the whole town 5 miles up the road. And Lisa's just like, this is crazy, we're just going to ruin somewhere else. It's like Homer's just like, I'm going to Moe's. As he jumps across to like on the motorway, jumps across to Moe's, he lets go of some rapper, which is like falls at the feet of some Native American. He's like got the tear in his eye. His friend just says, do yourself a favor, don't look around. It's just, I told you not to look round.
You know, I slept on that image for years. I never understood the significance of this Native American man crying. Okay. I think that's like a thing. It's like a reference to a thing. There's like some old like environmental video.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen the specific, if there is a specific reference that it is too, but I mean, the meaning is obvious, exactly, but like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's dope. That's what I mean. It's all about that rewatchability and seeing something you didn't see before.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a crazy episode. But it's just like where the first one was deep.
Oh yeah,
this one wasn't deep.
Yeah.
You've literally just got Homer just being petty and being ridiculous.
Yeah,
and look at the president of the United States right now. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, if someone can get up there and shout loud, and it's like, on paper, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then certain people will just lap it up, start throwing their hats in the air.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what you've got in that episode. But
absolutely. I'm just going to do a peek ahead.
Oh, is this a prediction?
So So you mentioned the principal and the pauper.
All right.
But before we go down that route, I'll just say that I think you are right to point between the links between this episode and that episode. Right. We'll see if that episode comes up later.
It's a beautiful little segue. It's absolutely not. You know what? I've got like the planner at home, and it was funny because I know that you hate on that episode, and I know that I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
But it just made me laugh because on my Sky Planner at home, I've just got all of season 9 on there, so like 27 episodes or whatever it is, and I happened to just look through it, and every one of them says viewed. And then one of them just says recorded, i.e. unwatched. And then all the rest is viewed. The honest reason is because I knew what was coming on here.
Yeah.
And I've seen it before anyway. And I knew that it wasn't going to go down. But it just seems funny that it's just like, it just looks like it sticks out as the sore thumb. It's like the one dead episode. Principal and the pauper. But I don't know. That episode's got some... It's got some moments. It's got some quotables.
For sure. I think people exaggerated how bad it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's more that it signifies a change in the quality overall.
Yeah.
But the last guy I had on a previous episode, Josh, I think he was mugging me off. I think because he named 3 terrible episodes,
Okay.
and I kind of feel like he was doing it deliberately because he named that Principal and the Pauper,
Yeah,
and like a few other garbage ones.
This guy was from like the south. In
Yeah,
the
yeah,
US.
yeah.
I enjoyed the episode, but yeah, it was some strange choices.
You're right. Yeah, that's so good. But you're doing well. You're 2 for 2.
Let's go.
All right. Fingers crossed. You can bring it home for the third.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. Tell me your third episode.
All right. This one's season 9 again.
Yep.
It's Bart Carney.
Yo, he did it. Yo,
All right.
3 solid episodes. All right, that is sick. So this is just a recap for our listeners.
Okay.
This is the one where they get their house taken over by carnival
That's
folk
it.
for some reason.
That's it.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Cuda and Spud.
Now you're on the trolley.
Let's go.
Cool. All right, let's get into it.
Okay. Well, this one starts off where Marge is trying to push Santa's little helper out the door.
Yep.
It's basically telling him to go and use the garden like as the bathroom.
Yep.
But he doesn't want to go out. And Homer's like, Marge, I've heard the best way to get a dog to go to the bathroom is to basically show him first and then he'll follow on. She's like, I'm not going to go to the bathroom in the garden. He's like, sorry, Your Majesty. So basically, like, she looks out in the garden. It's like 6 foot high grass. It's like, so like not been maintained or whatever. And like they turn around and apparently it's Bart and Lisa's fault. Like as if you didn't have warning signs. Like it's got pretty out of control. Like so they she goes into the front room. And like they're just lazing, slobbing out on the couch, and like Bart's hanging upside down. And Marge is like, "Yeah, come and do the yard work." And they're like, "No," like they don't want to do it. They're saying, "Well, but they put their hands out for the allowance." They're like, "Go on, it's allowance." Ding, 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 ding. She's like, "Well, if you want money, then you're going to have to do the yard work." So basically, she sets them up, and they've got to go out. Dressed them up as like some like Cabbage Patch Kid like sort of thing. Bart's like, I can't go out like this. So, someone might see me. They're like, no one's going to see you in the back garden. He opens up the door. He's like, ha! Closes the door. Opens it again. Ha! It's like, as if he's like, he pauses the heart. There's somewhere.
What I love is that it sets up the joke later when they're at some convention.
I was just about to say, I'm sure that happens in this episode as well. Yeah.
They walk through some convention for video games or technology, and there's a yard work simulator.
Oh yeah,
and they're like happily doing that.
Yeah. So basically, like she leaves them to it, and she's like made lemonade. She's gonna come out. Like, they've been working in the yard all day.
Yeah.
They're not in the garden. She goes back in the front room. It's like, what are you doing? Yard work got hard, so we stopped. It's just like, well, you're not going to get any allowance then. It's like, well, we get free board anyway, and Santa Claus provides the rest. It's like basically trumped her. It's like, but then like the carnival turns up.
Yeah.
And they see it drive past the house. And Bart and Lisa are like, oh, the carnival's here. We need money fast. Margie's like, now who needs the money? Homer runs in with his wallet open. It's like, carnival's here, kids, money, take as much as you need. And they run out the door going, ding, 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 ding. So like, basically they then turn up at the carnival, like you say.
Was it a carnival? What was that? I thought it was like some technology convention or something.
No, it's actually at the carnival. So
they plays yard work simulators at the carnival.
I don't know, like it's like one of those ones just made for the joke, the gag. Like, but yeah, so Bart and Homer are walking along. They walk past this ring toss game.
Yeah,
and so you've got the 2 carnies that you meet later in the episode, and you've got the kid just goes, seen any pigeons, Dad? Like, and he's like, through his vision, he just sees Homer as this big pigeon walking around, and gets him to come over. And it's like Bart basically says, like, aren't these games crooked? It's like, no, I'll show you. Throws it at it. It's like not getting it. This diameter of this ring's probably about 10 centimeters. He's trying to throw it over a TV. Anyway, he like walks away, like looking disappointed. And this Carney's like, oh, come on, man, I've got a son. And he like gives him this big like novelty comb. Homer's like combing his hair with it. He's like, see, Bart, kings among men. Anyway,
do you know who does the voice of the dad Carney guy? Do you remember those Ernest films? Ernest goes to camp.
I remember them, but I didn't ever watch them.
Oh, well, yeah. That revealed more about me than the episode, I think. So let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can picture it. I picture like the cover to the tapes and stuff. I never actually watched it.
Yeah, we're trying to bury that in the past. Carry on.
So anyway, they carry on through this carnival.
Yeah.
And they, the guy who's like who runs the whole park, he's got this, he's got Hitler's limo. It's this like Mercedes. And anyway, they're looking at it. It's like, some say Hitler's corpse is in the trunk and all this. Bart gets in it and he's fiddling around and he puts the handbrake down and it rolls. You've got like, I think Moe's getting his future told in one of the little stands, and they're like, you're in grave danger, and moves out the way and it smashes. Anyway, Nelson comes over. Hey, you wrecked Hitler's car. What did he ever do to you? Like, gut punch. So, anyway, like the guy who's like this colonel who like runs the carnival comes over. He goes, "You've wrecked the main attraction of my fair." But this colonel basically says to Bart and Homer, "You're going to have to work at the fair to pay off this debt." But they see this as more of a reward than anything else. Yep. So they go home. The next day, when they're turning up for their first day at work, like dawn breaks at the fair, and it's scummy. There's rubbish everywhere. There's rats on the hot dog roller, and they're being like sprayed off with the hose and all this. Homer and Bart turn up, and they walk up to the one where Cooter and Spud. And they're like, they're sitting there having breakfast, which is like a cotton candy and like a snow cone. They come over and they think that they're thinking that they've been hustled on the game. They're like, no, we've come here to work with you. And they're like, well, if you're going to work with us, we're going to need to teach you how to scam. But Homer doesn't clock the scam, so he's having to explain it. They sit down, and he reveals the Carney code. But Homer's like, you hear that, Bart? The Carney code. You hear that, Bart? Yes. And, so basically,
that's what he's teaching them, the slang, like rubes and trolley and all of that.
So so basically, they're telling them, the ring isn't big enough to go over the biggest things and all the rest of it. Homer's like, give me 10 rings, I'll show you. And it's just like, I think Homer says, so how do we handle refunds? Like, Cooter gives the money box to Bart. It's like, I think we're gonna have to leave you with this one. So they basically they end up working on the ring toss. Yeah. Then like Wiggum turns up and he's like, hey Simpson, I heard your game's crooked. It's just like, Homer's like, no. Like Wiggum's like, well, I don't want to shut you down. Maybe we can come to an understanding. Homer's like, I understand. It's just like, Bart's like, Dad, I think he's looking for a bribe. It's like, no, I've got this. Wiggum's like laying it on thick. It's like, look, I'm looking for my friend Bill. He's Bart. And
have you seen any Bills around here?
Yeah. Basically, they end up getting it shut down. And as it's like being wheeled off, Cooter and Spud turn up. They're like, what happened to our ring toss game? It's just like, got shut down. Cops took it. It's like, why didn't you bribe him? Homer's like, I was trying, but the opportunity never came up. So basically, like they like slump down and they're like sitting on this pig that's like asleep on the side. They're like, what are we gonna do? And Homer's like, get up off that hog. You're coming to stay at the Simpson house. Like Marge has some shiver at home.
She senses it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you know, I got a beef with like carnival, fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never go to them, man.
Nah.
Because my theory is if this ride has been put together and will be torn down soon,
yeah,
that's not safe. I ain't getting on that.
Well, have you not heard of? I think it was in 2016, but the guys have just been prosecuted over in Essex, where basically like some little girl went on a bouncy castle and it blew away. Absolutely ridiculous.
Jeez.
And it's
but I mean, like there was that Fort Park thing. Was it Fort Park?
Yeah.
Listen, I got the worst lawyers. Sorry, I'll run that again. There was that unnamed
it was Alton Towers.
Yeah.
It's like I had to dig Fort Park out of that one.
Yes. There was some theme park attributing blame. Like some people like they got mashed up, they lost their legs, all of this nonsense. Man, I'm staying away from theme parks, man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
My risk appetite stretches to catching the bus.
Yeah,
you know, that's the only excitement I need in my life. Is it the same colonel who runs the motorbike ride? Have you seen the movie, the Simpsons movie?
Yeah.
Is it the same guy who runs the motorbike ride there?
I think so. Yeah. No, you say it. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that'll be a nice tie-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right.
But yeah. So anyway, so they've invited them back to their house
as a goodwill gesture.
So they turn up at the house.
Yeah.
And these Bart and Homer are like really impressed with all these tricks that they can do.
Yeah.
So like, what is it? I think Spud like dislocates all his limbs. He starts shaking around. It says to like Lisa, "Are you doing anything tonight?" Blue eyes. And like Marge calls Homer in the kitchen, and his eyeball rolls in. It's like one of them's taking his eyeball out, and then they're at the dinner table, and that Cuda puts like the cigarette in his mouth, comes out his nose, and it's like comes out his ass. It's just like Bart's like, "Can you do that again?" Not for a little while. It's like these disgusting things. It's like that just reminds me of when I was a kid, and like you'd like bring the rogue friend home, and it's just like you're like really impressed with like like they're obviously trying to pull out the stops to impress, but your parents are just like, "What? Who is this that you brought home?"
I went to some appalling schools growing up. And like, bring your kids to hang out at my house after. While I was a kid, sorry, this sounds predatory. When I was a kid, bringing other kids from the same school that I was a student at over to my folks' house, and then they're meeting them. And then years later, these guys like are on crime watch. Yeah, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I'd never let them into my house.
Yeah,
which is like,
no, it's I'm the same. Like it was some of the people that I knew from school that were like,
yeah.
You know, they were lovable rogues at the time. Like, the lovable, just like, it ain't cute anymore.
It's how it starts.
It's like, yeah.
Have you ever, like, I got the weirdest thing. Whenever I meet someone I knew in high school and they'd been to jail in the interim 10 years or whatever that I've seen them.
Yeah.
And I've seen them about town, and I'm like desperately praying that they don't see me or recognize me, because I'm not trying to have that catch up conversation. Hey man, where you been all this time?
On the wake up. It's like you got the ones that are like trying to pursue the music career, but then you don't know which HMV or HMP.
Jeez. Oh man, there was one guy. Here's the worst one. Sorry to bang on about this. The worst one is guys in high school that you slightly beefed, but it was a beef you were comfortable with because they were scrawny. right?
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, if I see them around and it's trouble, it's all right, give them a mean right hook and it's over. But then some of these guys who I haven't seen them for 10 years and they've been in jail since, and they've like turned to these Schwarzenegger level muscles, and it's like you're standing like praying that hey man,
especially when they were younger. Well, they're obviously still younger, but like when younger mattered, like in terms of your body mass, it's just like, hang on, like I should have seen that one coming.
I turn into Rodney King when I see him. Can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
Anyways.
But so they've got him at the house.
Yeah.
Push is starting to come to shove with Marge. She's not happy.
Yeah.
I think Cuda and Spud basically sense this, and they give him a day out on a glass bottom boat as like a goodwill gesture. So they go on this glass bottom boat and they're like really impressed with it. And they're looking at there's some other boat that's on the bottom, and it's like Athena. It's just like, I wonder what happened to that one. It pans to like Homer and Bart like flashing their like belly and at the sharks. Yeah, what? You call yourself the king of the jungle? They're like ramming the glass, cracking it. Anyway, like they get back to the house. It's just like, from how far away would you spot that house is boarded up? Because Homer got the key in the lock. So, anyway.
Hey, sorry, just to back up a bit. Am I imagining it? You know when Marge says, all right, imagine if I had a glass-bottomed car.
Mm.
Am I imagining that then, like, it almost shows her, like, potholes? And am I imagining, has my brain just added that?
Yeah, it might have done that. It might have done it. I know that it definitely shows the footwell of the car.
Right.
But it might go transparent. I can't remember. It didn't make the notes.
That was strike 3. Oh, my God. Oh, man.
Yo, Marcus. Clean up.
Jeez, all right.
But yeah,
get the F out of here. Right.
So basically they march off to the police station.
Yeah,
they're in the room with Wiggum, and it's just like, it's Mr. No Bribe. He sits down, it's just like, yeah, why don't you wait around for the detective like I give a damn. He's like, okay. Sits down. Lisa's like, Dad, I don't think Daddy's waiting for the detective, honey. Anyway, they then go back to the house, and they're sitting up in the tree house.
Yeah,
and they're like basically camping out in there. They're like brushing their teeth with like twigs and this. And Homer's like, I've got a great idea. Basically, he proposes this game that he's a ring toss game.
Yes.
So he gets the hula hoop. He knocks on the door. And it's just got this great image.
Wait, why have they got a hula hoop but they can't find food?
Yeah. I don't know. But like, it's like, yeah, I'll challenge you to one game of ring toss. If I can toss this hula hoop over the chimney, I'll sign the house over to you. So they come out. And they're like, Dad, you're not going to make it. And he's like, limbers up 1, 2. And they run in the house.
Conniving.
And, that's where like they're outside. And it's like that Homer character really did you good, Dad. We were beaten by the best. He didn't really seem. We were beaten by the best, boy.
But you've left out the song.
Yeah,
it's called Groovy. Do you know what's weird is that he has these flashes of brilliance.
Yeah,
like 99% of the time he's a moron.
Yeah,
and then he comes up with these genius plans.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He's like this. He's secretly smarter than all of us, right?
Yeah, he stays winning. He's he's like
King Floyd.
He's like the people. He's a man of the people.
Yeah, he's a hero to all of us.
He's like your average guy, though. Really, I mean, he is so. Some people are just Magnolia characters.
Oh yeah,
so they won't. You imagine alternating current, and it's like that's Homer. So he's got the peaks and he's got the trough, and then you've got these boring characters.
Oh,
They're just they just stay this flat line all the way through. It's like, which one would you rather be?
True.
You're still an average guy by the end. So, but yeah, there are a lot of people like him.
Sick. And our listeners learned a little bit about electricity.
Voltage, yeah.
Well, hey, there we go. Hey, man, that was a beautiful choice. Three solid episodes.
Thank
and
you.
after this 6-month hiatus, to come back with some bangers like that was.
That's it.
Thank you.
That's it.
I'm
I'll
glad.
bring the bangers, you bring the mash.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. But like that, I'm so glad because I've caught so many bodies of people who came here with whack choices and they've just disappeared. So I'm glad I don't have to.
Yeah.
That grave is getting full.
It's like Diaper Hill.
Just guys just slumped, laid out. Couldn't come with the right choices. That's all good. We're just gonna cover a couple quick. We'll come into the home stretch, so we'll cover a couple honorable mentions, and we'll talk about some characters and that sort of thing. So have you got any honorable mentions?
Yeah.
It's hard to pick 3, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I had 5 that I was kind of debating on what I could have possibly thrown in.
Yep.
One of them was actually on that old bootleg VHS.
Oh, yeah.
It got grainy as anything, but I didn't manage to pull it back.
Yep.
And this was a Millhouse Divided.
Oh, beautiful. Whereas folks get divorced.
They get divorced. You got the party at the start.
Oh yeah.
Homer's playing Skeletrix, like in his underwear. You only had to get dressed and you didn't do it. You obviously got like, can I borrow a feeling?
Oh yeah.
Which like he's in Moe's and he's got some like was it the woman's name like Starla or something that's going to get his music career off. She's like, hey, yeah, can I have the keys to the car, lover? I need to go and change wigs. Goes up, drives off in his car. He's like, hey, my car. It's like, Homer he's like, oh, my demo tape. Homer's like laughing. Can I borrow a feeling? Oh, it's got your face on the box.
My favorite scene is when he gets laid off at work.
That's just classic. Because it's his wife's dad, isn't
He's
it?
the cracker. Is that it?
Yeah. Because she says earlier in the episode, about the father-in-law that like sorted him out with a job at the cracker factory, and it's just like, so he's in there and he's talking. It's like, oh, Kirk, it's a family. This is a family product. The single man eat crackers. I don't know. Frankly, I don't want to know. But like the best bit is like when Kirk just says like, oh yeah, so that's it. After 18 years, so long, good luck. I'll recall saying, good luck. Is that what you not put that boot in? like stone-faced. I recall saying, good luck.
So cold.
Allow him.
So cold.
But yeah, that's a great episode.
All right, so okay, cool. Let's move on to your other honorable mention.
It is. I touched on it earlier. It's called Kidney Trouble.
Oh yeah.
And so basically, Grandpa, they've all gone to some sort of a convention that day, and when they're driving back, Grandpa's like had a lot to drink or whatever.
Yep.
And he's like, I need you to stop so I can go to the bathroom. And Homer just like powers on all the way home, and his kidney bursts.
Yep.
And so they're in the doctors, and Homer's like, I can't help somehow feeling that this is my fault. Like, it's all your fault. It's like his kidneys burst. He's like,
the X-rays like this. Flare of kidneys.
He's like, if there's anything I could do, I'd do it. They're like, well, you could give him a kidney. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And he's like, doesn't realise that he just kind of thinks that it's like giving a fingernail, I guess. He's just like, yeah, I'll do it. Everyone starts giving him props and everything. And he starts getting worried just before they go in for the operation, and that's when he bolts it.
Oh man!
But it's just the thing I find that's funny is that like he goes and like lives this deranged, or he starts to live this deranged life, gets on this boat, and you've got all these lost souls that are on there. They've all got these ridiculous stories of like what's happened. It's like, so what did you do? And it's like, well, I promised my father that I'd give him a kidney, but I chickened out the last second and left him on his deathbed. Next thing, they've just like dashed him off the boat. And then
it's like your speeding course.
Yeah, and then he has it. Yeah. well, I'll tell it. I was on. I'll tell it. I was on the speeding course. It's shocking. I shouldn't. Okay, I was on the course, and this thing was like a fate worse than death.
Oh, man.
I was watching that clock. I swear it clicked backwards a couple of minutes. and there was this moment where, like, I can't believe it. I am ashamed. But basically, they said they started going on about the consequences of crashing at speed.
Right.
And it was like, so how would the victim feel? How would the driver feel? How would the friends of the driver feel? How would the friends of the victim feel? And they said, if anyone like feels uncomfortable covering this subject, like because of something that's happened, take this moment to go outside.
Oh.
I went outside for half an hour and played on my phone. Oh, dirty bungle. That is shocking.
Oh, man.
But yeah,
I just gotta say, I got the worst lawyers in the world, so we don't condone speeding. We don't condone any of that. Drive safely, folks.
but then like he sort of like starts to turn the episode back round. He comes back.
Yeah.
But then, like, you think, oh, he's doing the right thing, but he actually chickens out again. And he goes out, and I think he gets run over in a truck by, like, Hans Moleman, doesn't it?
Ah, yeah.
And it's just, like, gets flattened, and it's like, by the time he comes back in, they've just helped himself to a kid. They're like, oh, because he wakes up, he's like, I guess by now Dad's dead, or what? He's like, hot diggity damn! Dancing around. They all hug, and like Bart's like, Dad, that tickles, because Homer's like grabbing feeling up his kidney. Yeah,
That's beautiful, man.
yeah. No, I like that one.
So those round up your top 5 very nicely. Cool, but enough episodes, man. Tell me who your favorite characters are, man. Any characters you you particularly like, or
I mean,
you
like,
connect with, or
obviously, I love Homer.
of course.
I love Bart, actually. I mean, it's weird, the transition of Bart, where he went from like the cool, anarchist, and then he actually becomes a wiener as it goes along.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so I do like him. In the later ones, I prefer him as the wiener character than as the cool.
Because he was the main character for the first 2 seasons, right? And then it kind of became Homer, which is...
Yeah, and whose face was on all the merch and everything. And then now it's like, if you get a Simpsons poster, it will be a Homer with Duff or donuts or whatever, rather than Bart. But as far as side characters go, I really like Comic Book Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Just the sarcasm of him, and just the fact that these guys exist. It's like, I'd even stretch it to any of the geeks, any of the geeks that are in it. I can identify with these guys. Like one of the ones that I really love is like when they're covering an old Itchy and Scratchy. So basically, they're talking about an Itchy and Scratchy episode, and they've got like this panel of geeks, and he's like,
I know the line.
In this one episode, it's Itchy pulls out Scratchy's rib cage and starts playing it like a xylophone, but he hits the same rib twice. And he manages to make 2 distinctly different tones. Are we supposed to believe this is like a magic xylophone? How is a kid's thing? Like, it wasn't for you.
The line that follows is equally good. The one where they start talking about the other nerd asks, in the Itchy and Scratchy CD-ROM, how do you obtain the wizard's key? Almost like, I'll fill this one. What the hell are you talking about?
But yeah, I love that Comic Book Guy when he turns around and he looks into the eyes of this girl.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's a geek, but she's like the queen of the geeks.
Oh, yeah.
And they have this instant moment where they're bonding, and he like asks her out, and she's like, comb those Pop-Tarts out of your beard and wear on. Don't try to change me, baby. It's like, I love the fact that, like, he's a geek. He wants the girl.
Yeah.
But he has to stay loyal to his roots. It's like, just the fact that he's the YouTube troll before YouTube.
Yeah.
So you've got these people actually exist.
Yeah.
You watch any like video on YouTube and you've just got someone who has amounted to nothing. If you actually but their standards are so high for everyone else. It's like, and like, if you sort of say, chill out, just like let it happen, and they're like, no, that's loser mentality. Like, I only accept the best, and it's like, why don't you apply that to your own life? You might get out from behind that computer screen. But I love comic book guy.
He's a sick choice. As I say, just quickly on the topic of YouTube, guys, like I spent a large portion of my life producing content for YouTube and reading the comments foolishly, and these people are the worst people alive.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, we got a regular poster on the videos on this channel.
I've only ever listened to I've listened to every single minute of every episode, but all iTunes.
Oh yeah, the YouTube is a different world, man.
Right,
yeah,
I'll have a little look.
He's gonna hear this and post hate.
Yeah,
don't worry, we'll find him one day.
Yeah, I like putting that pond life under a microscope. Let's root him out.
Yes. That's a story for another day. I remember one time I met one of these guys in real life.
Right.
I stuck it on him and he was sweating. He was like, sorry, sir. I didn't want any trouble. he was like some 15-year-old kid.
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, exactly. I could have punched him up. He's a 15-year-old kid. But it makes you realize who these people are, man.
Yeah. I mean, but it's the age doesn't even come into it, though. But it's more the fact that any of these people, they get it put on them, and it's just they're going to quake in their boots.
Yeah, man. So comic book guy is a sick choice.
Thank
you. So we are regrettably coming to the end.
That's it.
I want to thank you for being an awesome guest and bringing us back after the hiatus. YouTube tried to shut us down. Every time I reach the monetizable YouTube goal, they move the goalposts. So a big F you to YouTube.
Well, I'll make sure that we surge through that threshold.
There we go. This is the episode we've been waiting for. I'll ask you for some plugs in a moment. But nope, he's got no plugs. He doesn't know anyone. He doesn't do anything. I'll ask you if you have any final words.
No, just thank you for having me on. On the real, I listen to this podcast all the time. I'm a great fan of it.
Thank you.
And it was nice. It was. I sort of thought that I might have struggled coming on here, but it was. It was fun.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I had a blast, man. I think that's the only thing to ever come out of this. Is, at least I have fun. Big up the new studio location.
Yeah, it.
They've gone Hollywood. It's
air conditioning.
Jeez,
it's nice.
No more sweating. When I had Frankie Fraser in here, man, we were sweating. It was hella hot. It's all good, man. I'll do a shameful call for guests. There's one or two on my sites who I'm trying to reach out to, but email in if you got suggestions for anyone we should try to reach out to, anyone who you think is funny. I'm gonna try and punch above my weight and get anybody who's like vaguely known in comedy or those kind of circles. But let me know. And feedback and suggestions always welcome. Big up you all listeners, and big up Sean. Thanks for listening.
Peace.